From the heart of the Space City to the heart of Gen Z, welcome to Next Gen Conversation. Not Dad's Talk Radio. Ethan talks to you about the issues and events that matter to our generation. This is the Next Gen Report with Ethan Buchanan.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome to the Next Gen Report. I am Ethan Buchanan. If you're tuning in for the first time, I want to encourage you to follow me on X at _ Ethan Buchanan, Buchanan. We have a great little community there. It's building, it's growing every single day. Come be a part of it. We'd love to have you. One of my favorite members of the little community that I've managed to build so far around the show is my sponsor, Deus Vult lapel pins. This is a great guy that makes a great product. All of these designs have something to do primarily with Christian and American heritage. We've got the America 250 pins. These keep getting launched and selling out immediately. So if you want to get one of these, celebrate 250 years of the greatest nation in the history of the world, get on the notify me list. When he has another batch of these come out, you'll get an email or a text message, whichever you prefer, and you can go immediately and order one. And you will have to do it immediately because, again, these are popular. They sell out quick. And then they've got a ton of other pins that celebrate American heritage, Christian heritage, Texan heritage. If you're watching right now later, we're recording right now, by the way. So if you're seeing the pins as I'm talking about them, you see the 1824 flag, the Goliad flag. There's a ton of fantastic designs here. Check them out. See if there's one you like. Go to deusvoltlapelpins.com. If you find some you want to order, use promo code NEXTPIN2026. You'll get 10% off. All right. I want to preface this episode before we really get into everything. This is going to be a crime-heavy episode. We're going to talk about a lot of crimes. Some of these crimes are more disturbing than others. Here's why. I'm not showing you the crimes because I want you to freak out. I'm not showing you the crimes because I want you to be angry about the crimes. You should be, but that's not why. I'm not here to just get you mad, all right? So much of news and news talk and things of that nature, so much of it is just dedicated to making people angry and fired up and getting clicks that way. That's not what I'm doing. I would love for you to click on my show. I would love for you to click on my X page and share it and what have you. But that's not the goal here. The goal is I want to show you that, one, there is a problem, and two, there are solutions to this problem. We don't have to live like this. We don't have to be in just this constant state of angry at the news. We can just address these issues, and then we don't have to be angry about them anymore. Then we don't have to worry about them. And if you're an older person listening to me right now, chances are you probably already know this. So this is dedicated more to the younger folks in the audience. This is the Next Gen Report. This is for the next generation. Older folks, I'd love for you to stay and listen. I would. Because you have a lot of knowledge here. I want you to be part of all of this. But chances are I'm going to say things that you already know. You already know that we can solve these crime issues. We already know that if you just put criminals in jail and don't let them out, these problems disappear. And we can live in a happy, safe society. You probably already know that because you lived in that society once, 30, 40, 50 years ago. My message is primarily to the young people and even to the older folks. We can get back to that society. But let's start with this. This is probably the least kind of wrenching story of the day. Report from Breitbart. U.S. Special Forces soldier charged for betting on raid of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. There's a level of comedy in this. There is. I'm not saying this is completely funny, but it is a little funny. All right? Gambling on black-bagging world dictators is funny. But let's dig into the story. A soldier in the U.S. Special Forces who participated in the raid on Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro has been charged with allegedly betting on the operation. The soldier, later identified as Gannon Ken Van Dyke, allegedly bet approximately $33,000 on the prediction market platform Polymarket towards the outcome of the raid, ranking in a massive payday of $409,000. I mean, hey, I'm not saying what he did was right, but I get it. I get it. $409,000 and you know you're going to win? Who among us Van Dyke allegedly placed the bets while partaking in the planning and execution of the U.S. military operation to capture Nicolas Maduro, per the Justice Department. In total, Van Dyke made approximately 13 bets from December 27, 2025 through the evening of January 26, the DOJ said, adding that he has been criminally charged with unlawful use of confidential government information for personal gain, theft of non-public government information, commodities fraud, wire fraud, and making an unlawful monetary transaction. All right, listen, again, I'm not saying what he did was right. Okay? Let's just get that out of the way right now. He should not have done this. He shouldn't have. And there is a strong argument to be made that it did pose a national security risk. People can, if this becomes the norm, look at what's going on in American betting markets and predetermine future U.S. military action. That's obviously a problem. We need to make sure that doesn't happen again. That being said, it's worth pointing out that this man did nothing that members of Congress don't do every single day. Every single day. How many times have we heard the complaints? Oh, Nancy Pelosi is insider trading because she's got information that we don't have on various government contracts or what have you, because she's in Congress. She's in the upper levels of Congress. She's an important figure, and so she has this knowledge that's not public, and she's trading off of it. And she's not the only one. That was one of the big complaints about Dan Crenshaw. That's one of the probably main reasons he lost his primary to Steve Toth. Now, was Dan Crenshaw insider trading? I don't know. Was Nancy Pelosi technically insider trading? I don't know. However, yeah, kind of probably wink, wink, they might have been. Allegedly, maybe. Wink, wink. So, I agree that we should punish this soldier who allegedly did this. We also need to hold Congress to the same standard. Probably even more so. And I've seen a lot of veterans make this point. Like, hey, what did he do that you, the elites, haven't done 100,000 times? And then some. I think it's fair to ask those questions. I think it is fair to ask those questions. And again, I'm not saying what he did was right. I get it. $409,000, that's a lot of money. Easy money, too, if you're this guy. But again, yeah, Congress does this all the time. So let's have the standard. Let's have it be a consistent standard. All right, we got a lot more coming up. The Next Gen Report is just getting started. Stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Next Gen Report. I am Ethan Buchanan. Follow me on X at _ Ethan Buchanan, BUCHANAN. If you're listening to me in San Antonio or Dallas right now, I want to apologize. This is going to be a Houston-heavy few minutes. So, tune in anyway, because chances are, and by tune in, I don't mean on your dial, I mean in your mind, lock in. Chances are the things I'm about to talk about that are happening here in Houston are happening in your cities as well. In fact, I know they're happening in your cities as well. So, this is relevant to you. You have probably heard, if you're in the Houston area, that we have run afoul of Governor Abbott. And this, of course, follows a good 2-ish years of Houston managing to be pretty well left alone by the state. And here's why. Mayor Whitmire, for the most part, understands that his job is not to be political, which might shock you at first because he's the mayor. That's an elected position. It is. But if you actually pay close attention, you'll realize that the mayor and city council, those are all technically nonpartisan seats. Now, we all know who the Democrats and the Republicans are. Let's not make any mistake about that. But technically, at least on paper, the duty of the city council and the mayor is not to be political, but simply to manage the day-to-day affairs of the city. Is the trash getting picked up? Is the law being enforced? They're not really, legislators in the sense that, the folks up in Austin are. They're not making political policy. They're just making sure trains run on time, trash trucks run on time, police are where they need to be when they need to be there. John Whitmire understands that. He does. And I'll give him full credit and marks for that. Many of the folks on city council, both to the left of me and to the right, understand that, and I'll give them full marks for that as well. However, there is a growing contingent of folks in both national politics and in Houston politics that really only see any given political position as a pathway to platform whatever their particular ideas are. And that shouldn't be the role of any political office, especially not a local municipal one. And so those folks, Abby Kamen, Alejandro Salinas, Ed Pollard leading the charge here. Those are the three wokest members of our city council, in my opinion. They set out to politicize. And so they wanted to go and do this big resisting immigration ordinance that would, force HPD to limit their cooperation and what have you and la-di-da-di-da. It never should have happened. And Abbott saw this, and that put us on his radar, which we had stayed off of for a long time. I think that's a good thing. We had a good working relationship with Abbott. And so, to make a very long story short, if you've somehow missed it, that has started a kind of statewide discussion about, what are our various cities across Texas doing when it comes to immigration? Now, the issue should be fairly simple. If you run someone's ID and you see amongst their warrants that, they have an ICE warrant, you call ICE and say, hey, I've got one of your guys that you're looking for right here. Come get him. And that's it. And I think that would be perfect. And you just sit there and you wait, and then the ICE agent comes, and then you call it a day because you've done your job. Now, Houston Police has very limited resources, limited personnel. We're building back up the department, so I understand that we can't really go and do all the immigration enforcement that I would love to see HPD do. And so I'm willing to compromise on that because at the end of the day, this is a municipal issue. We have a limited number of police officers. What is the biggest priorities? What can they do to be the most effective? And that's where their priorities should be. Now, while this entire debate was going on about whether or not HPD should just sit on their hands when they find an illegal alien, ICE Houston was, thank God, actually still going out and doing their jobs. From the Texas scorecard, ICE Houston arrests 277 criminal aliens in 2 weeks, including murderers and child predators. Now, I'll remind you, the going opinion, so far as I've heard from everyone on the left, is those 277 people should have been allowed to just live here. They're just as American as you or I because they're on stolen land or what have you. Among those arrested were 17 convicted child sex offenders, 6 murderers, and a Salvadorian MS-13 member sentenced to 228 years in her home country before the Biden administration released her to the United States in 2024. Why was she in our country? Known gang member sentenced to 222 years in prison in her home country, but she's living free on Houston streets. And members of the Houston City Council have no problem with that whatsoever. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Field Office announced Wednesday the arrest of 277 criminal illegal aliens over a 2-week period. That's just in 2 weeks. Wow. Between April 6th and April 17th, with those individuals carrying a combined 751 criminal convictions and 654 documented illegal entries into the United States. Now, the line we always hear is, these are just dreamers. They're just coming here for a better life. They just want to They just want to build something for themselves and make a name for themselves or what have you. Enjoy the American opportunities, just like, the Irish people that immigrated here in the 1840s through basically the 1920s, just like the Italians or what have you. That is so obviously not the case, it hurts. The people that are coming are, for the most part, the worst of the worst. And if not for the most part, a big enough contingent of the people coming are the worst of the worst to make it not worth it to let any of them in. If the same percentage of Irish immigrants in the 1840s through the 1890s were violent, murderous criminals that were sentenced to literally hundreds of years in prison in Ireland and were coming into the United States, they would not have been allowed in. Except maybe in the 1860s because the Union needed them for the army. But this idea that this is just like the immigration that we've seen in the past in the United States is flat out wrong. The people that are coming in are criminals. They are contributing to our crime problem. And again, we have a big crime problem. This is the easiest solution with the greatest effect to the crime problem. Like, it's not going to make crime go away. It's not going to disappear. But if you want to solve a whole lot of the crime problem really quickly, stop letting these people in. Which, thankfully, we have done. Praise God. But now we've got to get the ones that are already in out. And I'm sure the left is going to be pissed off about it. I'm sure the soccer moms that believe the lie that these people are all just here to build a better life are going to be super upset about this. At some point, we're going to have to just tune those people out. The Councilwoman Abby Kamens of the world, the Councilwoman Alejandra Salinas of the world, we're just going to have to say, no, you're wrong. I don't care what you have to say about it. We're deporting these people. They shouldn't be here. They're a threat. Because that's obviously true. I have a hard time believing that these MS-13 members, these violent criminals, like Minh Tung Nguyen, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry, from Vietnam, who was convicted for murder, is just going to stop committing murder. I don't believe that. And we don't have to have these people in our communities. We don't have to have these people threatening our families, our livelihoods. Just deport them. And if someone's upset with you, let them be upset. It's okay for you to be mad about it. We're deporting the illegal aliens, just like the Founding Fathers intended. We'll be right back with more. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Now, I've told you that I'm going to try to propose solutions as well as showing you the problem. Because, again, I cannot say this enough. I don't want you to think that it's over. I don't want you to think that it's helpless. Society is doomed. We've become so consumed by crime and illegal aliens and this, that, and the other that there's just nothing you can do. We've lost everything our ancestors built for us has been destroyed. That's not the case. That's not the truth, and there are solutions, especially on the illegal immigration front. I mentioned, of course, that we've already closed down the border. I think it's worth pointing out that Texas has doubled down on this. You might remember in 2023, during the 88th legislative session, a law was passed in the state of Texas to make it not just a state or a federal crime to enter the country illegally. It's also now a crime in the state of Texas. The Texas State Penal Code also prohibits this. This is good insurance for a future Democrat administration. Because rest assured, if you think that we've solved this problem forever, we have not. The moment a Democrat gets back into the White House, things will be just as they were under President Biden, if not infinitely worse. Thankfully, Texas at least has a measure of insulation. This is from the Texas Tribune. You'll have to forgive me for referencing the Texas Tribune, or if you're one of the woke people on TikTok that always fusses me for only using conservative sources. Here we go. This is the Texas Tribune. I'm doing this for you. Texas police can arrest people suspected of entering the country illegally, federal court rules. The conservative 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the plaintiffs lacked standing to challenge Senate Bill 4, the 2023 law that lets state police arrest people suspected of entering the country illegally. A 2023 Texas law lets state police arrest people suspected of entering the country illegally, can go into effect after a federal appeals court on Friday lifted a lower court ruling that had stopped it for years. So, what this essentially does is give state police now the power to arrest illegal aliens for being illegal aliens. Used to be only federal law enforcement could do that. Now state police can do it as well. And that includes local police officers, the Texas Highway Patrol, the various county law enforcement agencies, everybody. And not only can they now have a duty to. This is a state law that they are obligated to enforce. This is good news. And just to kind of further make the case, just to show you how necessary this was, this is the situation under the Biden administration. You probably remember this. This is a horde of illegal aliens being let into the United States by the Biden administration. If you're just listening right now, you can't really hear it. There's not a whole lot of crowd noise here, but come back later and watch it. This will all be available to watch on Monday morning. We're recording it right now. You can actually see the illegal aliens streaming into the United States because the Biden administration let them in. You can see they've got a forklift and they've lifted up a razor wire that the state of Texas put up so that these illegal aliens could crawl under it and illegally enter the United States. Because the situation we were in was the state of Texas can build whatever we want on state property. If that state property is along the border, we can build a wall there. However, if the Biden administration knocks a hole in the wall, we can't do anything about it. We can't stop these illegal aliens from coming through if there's a breach in the wall. Now we can. If this law was in effect then, state officials could have been sitting right there behind that forklift, and as these illegal aliens come through, cuff them, load them up. So, is this going to make a huge difference right now that this law is finally in effect? Probably not. But in the long term, this is an absolute win for, if nothing else, the state of Texas. And I'll remind you, most of the U.S. southern border is in the state of Texas. Where they come through most of the time. So, chances are this will curtail future immigration as well, illegal immigration into other parts of the country, not just the state of Texas. So, fantastic news for everybody. Now, there are still Americans that are committing crimes. Horrific, violent, disgusting crimes. And I'm going to show you an example of this as well. This is from New York. And this is just a despicable case. What I understand this to be is this guy was asking this girl for her number. And she turned him down and he got upset about it. And so he body slammed her into the concrete and curb stomped her head. Now, there have been allegations that she was actually bullying him. I don't believe that even a little bit. But I'm going to show you the video. And this is disturbing footage. I believe this girl did survive, praise God, but she's definitely very injured. And I think it's important that we see what the situation has come to in this country. So, here we go. You can hear it now. They're meeting in the street. They're arguing.
Do it.
No, you stand right here. No, you stand right here. Stand right here.
Oh no, she got your pussy.
Let's go to word.
And this is where he picks her up, body slams her, stomps on her head. This is disgusting to watch. It is. And if you're watching, you can see in the video, she's not trying to engage with this guy. She's not trying to instigate. She's not trying to start a fight. She's trying to just get away from him. You can see it. She tries to sidestep him. Her friend sidesteps him. When she moves to the side, he puts her arm out and stops her. He forces her to engage. She turns around. She walks the other way. He follows her, grabs her, body slams her. We can deport all the MS-13 gang members, all the illegal aliens. We can lock down the border iron tight. People like him are still in this country. What do we do about that? What do we do? How do we deal with this? There are some that would have you believe that, oh, well, there's nothing to do. Oh, well, I don't buy that. I believe there is a solution to people like this who believe that at any given time, they're completely justified in doing acts of violence. Because this guy, at least on paper, believes he was justified. His mom believes he was justified. Here she is. I don't know where they caught up with her, but this is the mother of this individual. And she doesn't believe her son did anything wrong. Take a listen to this.
Did you say why you stomped on her head?
She's been a bully to him. That's it.
She's been a bully to him. How?
Yes, from in the classroom of the classes what they have and some messages what I sent to his phone from her. We learned. She's been a bully to him and pushed him down and he fell.
So then
She's been a bully to him and she pushed him down and he fell. I straight up don't believe you. I just don't believe you. And even if I did believe you, that's still not justification for what he did. Even if she was sending him mean messages and that's why he curb stomped her. That's not what I saw in that video. What is very clear in that video is him just trying to get, or her just trying to get away from him. Constantly. She tries to go around him. She tries to just walk away from him. Constantly, she's just trying to get away from him. So even if she had bullied him in the past, it's very clear that in that instance, he is the aggressor. Obviously. Now, she also makes some allegations that this girl called him the N-word previously at various times. It's kind of hard to hear it in that video, and I had to censor a bunch because they're throwing swear words at each other left and right. But even in that video, uncensored, I don't hear anyone say the N-word. And even if she did say the N-word, that's still not justification to curb stomp a 14-year-old girl. It's not. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, that girl is 14 years old. She's 14 years old, obviously way smaller than him, and somehow she's the evil aggressor that forced him to curb stomp her in the middle of the road. Bullcrap, I don't believe you. And the fact that you, as the mother of this man, are now trying to justify his despicable actions. And she's constantly doing the entitlement face in this video. Again, tomorrow or whenever, yeah, it'll be Monday, go watch the video on X and actually see her face. She was bullying him. It's her fault. That's the face she's making. That's what she's doing. So what do we do with these people that think that any act of violence they choose to commit at any given time is completely justified if, oh, somebody said a mean word to me. Oh, somebody was sending mean messages to me. Even if you give her all the benefit of the doubt and her son all the benefit of the doubt and she was bullying him and being mean and racist or what have you, that's still not a justification to curb stomp a 14-year-old girl that's half your size. There is a solution, and we're going to talk about it next. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I want to again close by saying there are a myriad of solutions, but one really simple one to the crime problem. And this might shock people, but here's what I think we should do to dramatically reduce the amount of violent crime in the United States. Just punish the criminals. That's it. It's that easy. Just punish the criminals. We know it's that easy because that's what El Salvador did, and it has worked phenomenally. In the last handful of years, El Salvador has gone from being, if not the most violent and just heinous country in the world, to, if not the safest, one of the safest countries in the world. How did they do that? Very simply. If you're involved in one of these criminal cartels that's, aggressively terrorizing every single person in El Salvador, that's basically through corruption gained control of the entire El Salvadorian government, we're just going to punish you severely. We're not going to give you excuses. We're not going to cut you some slack. We're just going to punish you. That has been the approach in El Salvador, and it has worked. I want to show you what they do to criminals in El Salvador. You've probably heard about this. The Socote prison has made a lot of headlines, especially last year. But check this out. Hundreds of alleged gang members attend mass virtual trial.
The type of inmates being processed here are members of the criminal structure MS-13, a terrorist criminal organization.
Una organización criminal terrorista.
The subjects here are those historic gang leaders, leaders of gang cells, gang spokesmen, individuals who for many years caused mourning and pain to our society.
Sujetos que por muchos años le ocasionaron luto y dolor a nuestra sociedad.
That's a report from Reuters. And you see them, they're all sitting there. I mean, there's hundreds of them in that video that are all being mass tried virtually for their crimes. And this works. We've seen it work. Now, the left will tell you this is cruel, this is terrible, no, we can't do this, they're not getting the proper due process. We know these people are criminals. We know. These gangs have tattoos that you only get if you're in these gangs. It's not like there's just this massive issue of, these innocent people are getting swept up and imprisoned in Socote for life and they didn't do anything wrong. That's not real. And it's worked. El Salvador is safe. Now, I'm not saying we need to do that exactly. We probably don't have to go as far as El Salvador went because, frankly, if we're being honest, things aren't quite as bad here as they were in El Salvador. But El Salvador did reach a tipping point where they had to dramatically adjust the social contract in order to ensure that society continued to function. Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, actually talked about this. Here's the tweet he put up. The old legal system worked very well, but only in the Europe that existed between the end of World War II and COVID-19, and in less than 5 other countries. It doesn't work anymore. Legal systems respond to social contracts, and social contracts are, by definition, different in different societies and constantly changing. However, we are not even applying a different system here. These mass trials and the prosecution of leadership of criminal organizations for these crimes committed by their members are not legal innovation. They are recognized doctrine in international law. It's called command responsibility and was applied to the allied countries in the Nuremberg trials. So what he's doing really isn't that crazy. He's just trying people for crimes, and if there's a lot of people that committed the same crime, we try them all at once. And then we punish them aggressively if and when they're convicted. We could do that here in the United States. Have trials for people who commit these crimes, and it can be any number of crimes. Maybe what you did was you obviously, for whatever reason, I think, tried to kill a woman in the streets of New York because, she was harassing you. Which, again, I don't believe that story. But I am of the opinion that someone like him, the perpetrator of that crime, should be arrested, tried, and I think it's pretty clear he intended to kill her, and so he should be executed for that. We have to get back to a place where we as a society are willing to aggressively punish people. That's why I am such a big proponent of the death penalty. If you take someone's life or even try to take someone's life, your life is forfeit. You have violated the social contract. You have proven you cannot function in society because if you were willing to unjustifiably kill a person once, you're probably willing to do it again. You should not be a taxpayer burden for life. This whole, we just put people in prison forever and that's what they get. No, I don't want to have to pay for you for your entire life. all of your medical issues, all of the food you eat, all the clothes you wear, your housing. I'm now responsible for that because you couldn't survive in society without trying to murder someone. No, the answer is no. Execute these people. And the execution should not be a pleasant experience either. We need to disincentivize the crime, which means we're not just going to put you to sleep with a drug and then slowly shut down your muscles with another drug and then slowly shut down your other systems with a different drug. And just over time, over the course of several minutes, you just slowly slip off into a peaceful sleep for murdering someone aggressively. No. I firmly believe if you take someone's life in a robbery or any other violent crime, if for any reason you have killed someone who was not trying to kill you or rob you, you should be killed and it should be unpleasant. And if you set that standard, guess what? People are going to stop just murdering people over silly things. You're going to think twice before you smash a girl's head in just because she said something you don't like or wouldn't give you her phone number. Because you realize, oh, if I kill her, there's a good chance that I'm going to be shot by the state. That sounds aggressive and that sounds mean, but actually, it's worked before. If that's the social contract, I bet you it'll be followed. Thankfully, at least someone in the Trump administration understands this. Justice Department to allow firing squad for executions and move to ramp up capital punishment. Good. Do it. Do it. And every single state should follow along. The crime for an unjustified homicide, or the punishment for an unjustified homicide in the United States, should be firing squad. I'm even open to the noose, frankly. This isn't just my hot take. It is, but it's more than that. This is biblical. The Pope will disagree with me on this. I don't care what the Pope has to say. I'm a Protestant. This is biblical. People will say, oh, the Bible is pro-life, so you can't take someone's life. The Bible is pro-life, and that's why life should be taken when it's unjustifiably taken. And I'm not just saying this. This is from Romans, chapter 13. The Apostle Paul himself, the guy. Romans 13, verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? He's literally saying, would you not be afraid of authority? That's crazy. Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid. For he does not bear the sword in vain, for he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. I have to believe he's talking about capital punishment there. Do good, and good will come to you from the government, or at least that's the standard it should be. Now, if the government violates its end of the social contract, that's what we have things like the Second Amendment for. But right now, the government is not upholding its base duty in the United States in so many cases, which is punish evildoers. Now, in many cases, just doing some time in an uncomfortable prison is more than enough. You've paid back your crime. You maybe robbed someone, you stole something, what have you. You do 10 or 15 years in prison and you learn that that's not a good idea. But if you kill someone, the government has every right to execute you. And we've gotten away from that. We can't punish criminals. We have to be nice to them because it's not their fault. It is their fault. You chose to commit a crime. You should be punished. This is the Next Gen Report. I have been Ethan Buchanan. We'll be back Wednesday. Check me out on X @_Ethan Buchanan to see that show.